Hello guys and welcome to another video. So today, as you can probably tell, I am doing another reading vlog, but this one is special because I am going to start to reread Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So I'm obviously starting up with Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, the book that literally started it all. But it is not a normal reading vlog. Today I have challenged myself to read Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief in one day. So basically not one sitting, but yeah, kind of like one sitting. And I told you guys this, and one of you guys were like, because you're gonna read it so slowly that it's gonna take you 24 hours. 24 hours is just a way to market the video, okay? It's not gonna take me 24 hours, but it's the way to sell the video. Everyone loves 24-hour readathons, so that is what we're doing today. So without further ado, let's get into it. But actually, before I get any reading done, I'm going to be filming a Percy Jackson related video today. So this one will obviously come out first. So keep a lookout for this outfit in another video and you'll know I filmed it today. So have fun with that. Okay, so this book is 375 pages long. So I did the math because I know I can read about 50 to 60 pages an hour, 60 if I'm really into it or if I've already read it because I read them faster. So that means it's going to take me about 6 hours approximately to read this whole thing. And also I was reading through you guys' comments because I asked you about your favorite quotes or your favorite moments, and a lot of you said that your favorite quote was, "Look, I didn't want to be a halflet," and I completely agree. My favorite quote, and it's from the chapter, "I accidentally vaporized my pre-algebra teacher." And whenever people are like, Percy Jackson chapter titles seem like really clickbaity YouTube videos, I 100% agree. So without further ado, let's get into it. It is currently 11:30 in the morning and I am starting page number 1 of Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. Let's go! Okay, I'm on page number 3 and already I have so many things to say. First of all, am I a troubled kid? Yeah, you could say that. Also one of the most iconic lines ever. I recreated it in one of my A to C videos. Second of all, Nancy Boba Fett was going to eat a peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Explain to me, Americans, is this something that you normally consume? Because that sounds super gross. Peanut butter and ketchup. I already don't like peanut butter and jelly, but peanut butter and ketchup. And thirdly, Grover, when he is first described, is described as, Grover was an easy target. He was scrawny. He cried when he got frustrated. I have never related to Grover more in my life. Also, seeing all of the references to the quotes that the musical makes to this book is incredible. If you haven't listened to the musical, go listen to it because there's quotes literally from the book. It's so good. I never noticed this before, but Percy says she always wore a leather jacket even though she was 50 years old. Is 50 years old too old in Percy's mind to always wear a black leather jacket? Grover and Chiron literally gaslighting Percy about Mrs. Dodds. Okay, so I'm 40 pages in and I already have so much to say. First of all, I didn't remember that Gabe called Percy Brain Boy. I completely forgotten that he'd given him that nickname, and it made me remember something from when I did my Is Percybeth Toxic video, and that is that people said that Annabeth calling Percy Seaweed Brain was really insulting and it was toxic that she kept calling him that because it was like an insult to his intelligence. But if you compare the two, Seaweed Brain and Brain Boy, obviously they have a lot in common, but it's really different because of context and because of who says it. When Gabe calls Percy Brain Boy, he is clearly insulting him and his intelligence because of his ADHD and dyslexia. But when Annabeth says it, she's not obviously calling it because of that. She's just saying it because Percy sometimes acts like an idiot and is, a little bit slower to understand things than other people, but she's not saying that to insult him. She's just saying that to tease him. So I just wanted to point that out because Gabe is the worst. He is really the worst. And every time I forget that this is in a children's book, but his relationship with Sally and with Percy has mentioned being afraid to speak back, to talk back to Gabe because he thinks he's going to beat him up. That is to say that Sally is the best human in the world. Percy says this, and I agree. She is literally the best human out there. She is so nice, and I can't believe she had to endure Gabe for like so many years in order to keep Percy safe, but she's the best mom in literature, probably. Her relationship with Percy is just so cute. I love seeing the two of them interact. They are so wholesome. I just remembered what I'd forgotten to say before, and that is that Sally here, she says that she met Poseidon in that beach, so in New York, in summer, and that they only spent summer together. But Percy was born in August 18th, and you're telling me that he was created in summer. That would mean that he'd been inside his mom, like, you know, for like 12 months, like 11 at least. How is that possible? Like, Rick, this is your first book. How do you already mess this up? Like, I know you're bad with continuity and stuff like that, but this is a plot point. How do you specifically say he was created during summer, and then you're like, but he's also a summer baby? Like, late summer, not even June or July. No, specifically almost the end of August. Where is the sense?
He's the one. He must be. I scooted a little farther away from him because if there was one thing I had learned from living with Gabe, it was how to tell when an adult had been hitting the happy juice. Oh my god.
Zeus sending Dionysus to Camp Half-Blood in order to work with youths rather than tearing them down is the most hypocritical thing that has ever happened in this book. And he also told him to be a better influence. How hypocritical can you get, Zeus? They just confirmed that Luke is 19 in this book, or at least he looks like he's 19. We know not to trust Percy and his estimates and people's age, but he looks 19, and Annabeth is 12, so he's 7 years older than her, which makes their relationship in the last 2 books extremely creepy.
Literally 2 chapters ago, everyone was like, no, don't say Minotaur, say son of whoever. And now literally Chiron said Minotaur, Annabeth said Minotaur, everyone is saying Minotaur. Do names have power or do they not?
I can't believe this. Clarice is the first person to ever call Annabeth Wise Girl. And it's clearly an insult. Why didn't I know that? Percy, how uncreative can you get? You don't even invent your own nickname for your girlfriend. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I had become one with the plumbing.
Okay, so it is 1 in the afternoon and I just got to page 100 and I'm gonna leave it there for now because I am going to have lunch soon. But I just wanted to say that we've had like about 10 pages of just Percy and Annabeth interaction, and I've really liked it, obviously, but it seems that the tension between them obviously starts when Annabeth finds out that Percy is Poseidon's kid, because they don't know that yet, and she just mentioned that Athena kids don't get along very well with Ares kids and the rivalry thing with Poseidon. So I think that's what causes everything, which is interesting because for now they seem like pretty chill with each other. So now I'm just gonna go and check out some of your comments that you guys left me, so let's go. Okay, so let's see what questions you guys had for me over on YouTube. Here we go. What was your first impression on Annabeth? And I can answer this because I literally just saw her for the first time in the book, which is a very good timing, honestly. And my first impression is that she is just like such a strong character. Like right from the get-go, you know that this girl is ambitious and she gets what she wants. And she is not afraid to go for things. Because she is right there with Chiron when Percy first comes in. Which tells us that Annabeth is always on it. She always wants to be in the know. She wants to know everything that's happening so she can use it in her advantage. And then she nurses Percy back to health despite not being a kid of Apollo, just in case he said something or he knew something that could help her get a quest. And then she shows Percy around, and she's honestly really sympathetic towards him and his situation with his mother, unlike Chiron, who's like dropping your mom is dead comments like left and right without really being like, dude, I'm sorry, your mom is dead. So I didn't remember Chiron was so apathetic to Percy's situation. But she's also really super ambitious. We get that from the get-go. So honestly, reading from Annabeth's first pages, I am super comfortable in my belief that she would be a Slytherin. So it was a good first impression. Very nice, well not nice, but strong-headed and ambitious young woman. What did you first think when you started reading The Lightning Thief? I thought that I hadn't laughed with a book in my whole entire life. That's what I thought, and it honestly changed my life. Next up is, what did you think of The Lightning Thief before you read it? I thought that it was a good movie. When did you know you loved it and were going to read all the books? Probably after the first chapter. Like I said, I never laughed out loud with the book, so I was like, this is changing my whole world. What was your first impression of Camp Half-Blood? That the campers there aren't very nice. Like, they're supposed to be welcoming and sympathetic. He just lost his mom because of Greek mythology. He doesn't understand what's going on. But from what we've seen from the Ares kids and the Hermes kids, they just like stare at him and laugh at him and dunk his face in the toilet. So yeah, Camp Half-Blood, very cool, but the campers, not so nice. My question is, if you were at Camp Half-Blood, what would you be most known for? And I think I really wouldn't be known for anything. I usually I don't get noticed that much in like schools or camps. I usually stick to my close-knitted group of friends, and that is that. But I might be known for cracking some ill-timed jokes, maybe, like at inappropriate times, just being awkward and just like trying to crack a joke and people being like, what is happening? So yeah, that might be what I was known for, besides, you know, being Percy's sister. Have you ever thought any of the Percy Jackson characters to be annoying? Yes, a lot of them, in fact. Not so much like Percy Jackson and the Olympians characters, more like Heroes of Olympus characters, but you guys know all about my thoughts on that series. But honestly, I thought Rachel was annoying. I thought that she was overbearing, and that since I am not a very like forthcoming person, I'm not very outgoing, the fact that she was so outgoing and open with Percy the first time, I was like, back up, you don't know each other, okay? Like, we don't know you, you don't know any of us, so why are you so like confident? Please sit down. So maybe that's why I didn't like her that much. Just from a social anxiety introvert point of view, I was like, what is happening? Stay in your lane, okay? So yeah, I thought Rachel was annoying. Also, probably other characters, probably Clarice before I started liking her. Like, before book 2, Clarice was super annoying. Honestly, I don't do well with bullying for obvious reasons, so probably those two. And probably some background guys, maybe even the Stoll brothers sometimes, honestly. When you started reading The Lightning Thief, did you guess that Luke was evil? I can't properly answer this because I watched the movie first. I know, I'm sorry, but it's what happened. So I did know that Luke was evil. I don't remember if I'd forgotten and then it was like a shock, then I remembered, but I know that with the movie, I probably didn't figure out because there weren't as many hints. There are so many hints in the book, so you could probably like pick up on that before it happens. The thing with the voice in the dream and the shoes that lead him to Tartarus, those things don't happen in the movie, but they do happen in the book. So I feel like if I read the book first, I probably could have picked up on it, especially when Ares just turns out to be having controlled by Kronos, and same thing with Hades. I mean, he wasn't controlled, but you know, Hades wasn't the bad guy. So yeah. And then we have, what was your first impression on Luke? He seems like a good guy. I just saw him for the first time in this book. But I was thinking, because right now this is the first time I've reread the series, and this book specifically, haven't listened to the Lightning Thief musical. And a lot of the quotes from this book are given to different characters in the musical. So a lot of Annabeth's quotes when she is showing Percy around are giving to Chiron, and a lot of Luke's lines are also given to Chiron. So I'm like, why are you taking all of these character development lines from Annabeth? Because they're important and they show you the beginning of their relationship. So I don't understand. That is to say that my first impression of Luke was that he was a nice guy. Not much to tell, he hasn't done anything. Someone said, what would you add to this book if you could? I don't think I'd add anything. Because in my mind, this book is a perfect book. I know that doesn't exist, but oh, maybe diversity, that's a good thing. Like, I wouldn't have to change the plot or anything, just like add diversity. Hey, my mind. So that is it for now. Right now, I'm going to go have lunch, read a bit more, and then maybe I'll talk about your favorite quotes and we'll keep reading. So, I just finished lunch. I did spend a little bit of time, just a little bit of time on TikTok, but now I'm ready to keep going, so let's go. Page 101. Luke just said, after all, we're extended family, right? You should never say that, Luke. I'm sure you've dated a lot of girls at Camp Half-Blood over the years, okay? You've been there for 5 years. I'm sure you've dated someone. You can't just go on saying you're basically extended family. No one ever talks about it in the Percy Jackson fandom, but everybody knows we ignore the fact that they're technically related because we have the excuse of the golden ichor not having DNA. But if they literally mention it in a book, Luke, what are you thinking?
There were only 2 of them, Dionysus kids.
When I did the video with the book lover, go check it out over there, we were talking about the Greek gods and how good of parents they were, and Dionysus came up, and I thought he only had 2 kids, you know? But she thought they had more, like there were more than the 2 that we know the names of. But now we have confirmed it. There's only 2 of them, so that's Pollux and Castor, I believe. The twins? Maybe not twins. They're brothers. So, I was right.
Athena always has a plan. Also a great quote.
The Ares kids are literally electrocuting and stabbing Percy in the arm. These campers, man, they're crazy. So, Poseidon just claimed Percy after capture the flag. All very exciting. But ever since we've got into camp, they have been calling it being determined or not. They haven't said the word claim or being claimed or unclaimed. So where did that come from? Did we make it up? Am I gonna have to change my name to Undetermined Demigod?
Page 147. Annabeth calls Percy Seaweed Brain for the first time. Page 148, Percy calls Annabeth Wise Girl for the first time, but this time it hits different because I know that he is copying Clarice.
You're telling me that all these years, Since 2012, I have thought that Riptide was a blue ballpoint pen. But page 153, black ink. What is this? All my life is a lie? It was real. It was real to me. What? How is Riptide a black pen? The best parts of my life have been a lie. Basically. Also, Chiron is over here being like, oh, if only I had more time to train you, Percy. This boy has literally been at camp for 5 days. I don't know how he survived this.
Never mind, Percy just confirmed it was 2 weeks. Still, not enough time.
Okay, so I just made it to page 200, and that is right before the St. Louis arc thing happens. So basically, since the last time I talked to you, all we did was leave camp, get on the bus, destroyed the bus, went into Auntie M's Imperium or whatever, almost got killed by her, slept in the woods, had a heart-to-heart, then talked to a pink poodle, got train tickets, had another heart-to-heart, and now we're going to St. Louis. But I wanted to say that I've always been quite confused about why Annabeth doesn't seem to have any friends at Camp Half-Blood besides kind of Luke and Grover before Percy gets there. And I was thinking, and I was like, well, maybe the Athena kids, but she's never really shown to hang out with people the way she does with Percy and Grover. So I suddenly had an epiphany, and I was like, Annabeth got there when she was 7, and they have said repeatedly in this book that demigods don't find their way to Camp Half-Blood until they're like in 6th grade. So that means they're either 11 or 12. So until that year, until the beginning of this book, when Percy and Annabeth are both in 6th grade, there probably weren't many campers her age. That is to say that there probably weren't any of them at all. And from what we've seen so far, most campers were older than Percy or Annabeth. The ones that we have gotten their ages from have been Luke, who's 19, and Clarice, who's either 13 or 14. So given that, it makes so much more sense now that Annabeth doesn't have any friends at camp. I mean, she has colleagues, she has brothers and sisters, but she has always been, from the start, 5 years younger than the youngest camper there. So I had an epiphany, and now everything makes sense. So I was gonna blame Rick Riordan for being like, she lived there for 5 years, didn't make a single friend, but no, it actually makes sense. Which leads us to me talking about your favorite quotes. I don't know how that leads us to that, but I just want to talk about them because you guys sent them in, so let's check them out. Someone sent in a Leo quote, which is impossible because not only is he not in The Last Olympian, how could he be in the first book in The Last Olympian? But that's fine. And then someone said I said hello to the poodle. Great quote, I agree. Someone else said, deadlines just aren't real to me until they're staring me in the face. And I agree, this one is super relatable, and unfortunately, that happens to me as well. Then, of course, we have you drool when you sleep. We also have so many mentions of, look, I didn't want to be a half-blood, which we all know is iconic. Someone else said, because you're my friend, seaweed brain. Any more stupid questions? And I agree, that one's great, and I'm getting to it. I still have a couple of pages. Like, we need to get to St. Louis, and then we need to get to Ares, and then the Thing, and then Vegas, and then that happens. And then this person said, how did you die? We drowned in a bathtub. All 3 of you? It was a big bathtub, which I will not get until the end of the book, so that's great. And finally, we have, if my life is going to mean anything, I have to live it myself, from the queen herself, Sally Jackson. She hasn't said it yet. She says it at the end of the book, which means that I just have to get on with it. But for now, let's read and munch on some grapes. guess what? I did not get any reading done because I was out for an hour doing some chores for my mom. So that means that I have to get my ass in gear and get reading right now because we still have 150 pages that we have to read, preferably before dinner. So when I change from jeans to sweatpants, you know things are about to get serious up in here.
Page 251. Because you're my friend, Seaweed Brain. Any more stupid questions? Iconic.
Guys, I found it. Page 252. This is the moment in The Lightning Thief where Rick first describes Talia physically, and here we go. She was my age, with unruly black punk-style hair, dark eyeliner around her stormy green eyes. Why does he do that to himself? Like, a book later, he's like, no. Blue like the sky. Why didn't he think about that sooner? Maybe he wanted Talia to look like a female version of Percy as much as he wanted them to have their personalities parallel each other, but why did he change it later then? Apparently Percy can also speak to zebras, which I'd forgotten, and he's like, why can't I hear the zebra and not the lion? And then he's like, maybe it was another learning disability. This child, why can't you place a blessing like that on us? I asked. It only works on wild animals. So it would only affect Percy? Annabeth reasoned. What an icon. Grover playing virtual deer hunter, but it's reverse and the deers hunt the rednecks. Like, Uncle Rick didn't have to go that hard, but he did. And there's literally dialogue where Grover says, die human, die silly, polluting, nasty person. This is a children's book. Okay, hear me out. I'm not saying that Percy, Annabeth, and Grover should have stayed at the Lotus Hotel forever and lived a nice, easy, happy, eternal life there. But I am saying that if given the chance to live at a place like that forever, without aging, probably, free food, free games, free bungee jumping, and an aquatic park inside a casino, I'm just saying that I might take them up on that offer. It just sounds like so much fun. Got it.
This book mentions a phone book. Do you feel old yet?
So when our trio gets attacked by some stupid white kids in LA, one of them takes out a switchblade and Percy takes out Riptide and he slashes him through his chest and he's like, oh, he must be mortal because nothing happened. What are you doing slashing a human through the chest, Percy? What was the reason? What did you intend to happen? Like, if you knew nothing was gonna happen, why did you do it? And if you wanted something to happen, why did you stab this kid in the chest? Did Percy intend this kid to die? I don't know. Everyone always asks me, what is your favorite underappreciated Percabeth moment? Well,
Annabeth grabbed hold of my hand. Under normal circumstances, this would have embarrassed me. But I understood how she felt. She wanted reassurance that somebody else was alive on this boat.
But it is not the only time they hold hands before dating, because in the Battle of the Labyrinth, when they find the entrance to the labyrinth in Camp Half-Blood during the battle with the gigantic scorpions, they also hold hands in the dark. Super cute, I love it. So I just made it to page 300 and I'm going to leave it there. For now, we still have 50 pages to go, but I'm going to have to head down to have dinner soon, so I just thought with the beginning of a new chapter, this was the perfect place to leave it and then to like marathon the last 50 pages. We've left it like right before we find out about not Luke's betrayal, but you know, the flying shoes betrayal. We're heading to Tartarus soon, which is fun. We just had the scene with Cerberus and Annabeth, and she actually cried, and that was so sweet. That was so cute. I forgot like they bonded so quickly, but that was nice to see more like a human side to Annabeth, although she's being a great character. I don't understand why people would read this book and not like Annabeth. People think she's annoying, but I'm not getting that at all. And I'm like, am I biased? But like, I usually understand why people find characters annoying, but not at all. At least not in this book. I'll have to see when I read the next ones, but also Percy decapitated Krusty like it was nobody's business. So it is currently 2 hours later because dinner ran long, and then we watched a bit of TV, and then we watched Marvel's latest What If episode. It was great, by the way. So it is almost 10 and I still have 52 pages to go. So I guess we're marathoning this. So just so you know, if it's taken me this long to read it, it's not because I'm a slow reader, it's just because I do a lot of things in between reads. So let's go. Why is it that every single time one of these demigods is being dragged into Tartarus, it has something to do with their feet? For Grover, it's the flying shoes that lead him there. For Annabeth, it was the spiderwebs tied to her feet and legs. I am sensing a pattern.
Okay, so here they're very close to Tartarus, and Percy says, it made me think of things I shouldn't even know about. Blood spilled at an ancient stone altar.
Spoiler alert. Now, a lot of people seem to think that is foreshadowing for Percy and Annabeth having their blood spilled in, spoilers for Blood of Olympus, in Blood of Olympus. I don't know if that was a good spoiler wording. But I honestly do not believe that Rick Riordan had thought this far ahead. I think it's just like a reference to Greek mythology itself, not foreshadowing for a book that would come like 9 books later in this series. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think, if you think that was foreshadowing or not, because I think Rick Riordan does not have the brain power to think that far ahead. I mean, come on, he said Talia had green eyes. Percy is going to fight Ares, and then Annabeth gives him her Can't Have Blood bead necklace, and she's like, reconciliation, Athena and Poseidon together, and Percy blushes. That is so cute. Also such a nice parallel to what happens in Blood of Olympus, but from Percy's point of view, as it should have happened. But anyhow.
Okay, is it just me, or does this curse from Ares not come into play until, what book is it? Like, Mark of Athena? Or is it Blood of Olympus? I feel like when Percy's like, oh, I'm not that good anymore, and he starts thinking again about how Luke was the best one and stuff like that. I feel like this doesn't come into play until then, which makes me feel like Rick forgot.
Okay, so it is officially 11 p.m. and I have finally finished the book, so I do not know why I was so hell-bent on thinking that it just had 352 pages. I don't know why I had that specific number in my mind, but it actually had 375, so 23 more pages than I bargained for, but still pretty good. One thing that I have to say is that the revelation that Luke is evil / working for Kronos, I feel like now that I've listened to the musical, it feels a little bit underwhelming in the book, because the song where it happens is like the second to last song is incredible. When he finally reveals that he was working for Kronos and that he wants to take over the gods, he's like, oh my god. And it's a reprise of Good Kid. I'm sorry if my thoughts are muddled. It's 11, but I'm tired. My mind has been working all day, and when I read all day, my eyes get tired, so there's that. But yeah, just a little bit underwhelming. If you have time, please go listen to that song. Right now, I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's the second to last song, and it's one of the best. If you can watch my tier ranking video, I ranked it in God tier because it's just so incredible. Just simply because of that part alone makes it God tier. I must say that it's clear that Rick had planned out at least the first 3 books. in this series, unlike with Heroes of Olympus, because there's hints to things that happen later on. Like with the Golden Fleece, someone was trying to sell him like a cheap version of it in Olympus. And then with the lion in the third book, I forgot what it's called, the one that pretty sure Hercules kills, with the golden fur. He is referenced twice throughout this book, and he appears in the third one. So you can clearly tell that he had this more mapped out than Heroes of Olympus and other series in the future. But at the same time, like, why did he say that Talia had green eyes? I don't know, it's confusing. And also with Percy's birthday, as I said before, everything is confusing. But all in all, a very good reading experience. I basically just read all day and did chores all day and maybe a little bit of TikTok, but that's normal. Please leave a like if you like this video and let me know down below if you want me to make this kind of content for the other Percy Jackson books. I'm sorry I did not get to your favorite moments. I am too tired, but I know some of you said the capture the flag, great moment. The fight with Ares, also incredible. In my mind, he defeated Ares in a more like finite way, which I'm happy it didn't happen. It was like he was clearly still out of his league. He's just like slashed his ankle. So I'm happy he didn't actually defeat Ares. And then a lot of you said, honestly, I don't remember anymore, but thank you for watching. Please let me know down in the comments if you want more like this, if you want it longer, I'm pretty sure you don't, or shorter, or in like another format, and I might actually listen to you. If this goes up like the first week of October, I'm planning on making the next one like 2 weeks later, so let me know if that works for you. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that bell button so you get notifications every time I post a new video. I post videos super frequently on this channel, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye!